All right, Bull, take us to Guardians, because I know you're as excited as I am on this.
So, yeah, like I said, I spent most of my podcast on it today. The team deserves more coverage and more credit. First of all, on Terry Francona, it's going to be interesting. Like, I'm a little biased, and I think he should definitely win Manager of the Year. However, you can make a really good case for Scott Service of the Mariners as well. They haven't been in the playoffs in over 20 years. But I think Francona is going to win it because the Mariners obviously have a lot higher payroll than the Guardians do. Yep. And what the Guardians have done to the Twins, they have just put them away with these last 2 weeks the way they've played with the Twins.
Ahmad Rosario?
Oh, yeah. Ahmad Rosario, oh my God.
He's hit out of his mind.
Him out. They can't get him out right now. He had the 8 hits in the doubleheader on Saturday. Yesterday, stole 2 bases, hit a 3-run homer. And you know what was huge? Is that they didn't have to use Clase and Karinchak much in these last few games. So the guys should be fresh. They didn't use them. Both those guys were off Sunday and Monday. So now heading into the biggest series of the year against the White Sox, they have those guys fresh, which they needed that breather. That's huge. But the lineup's been great lately. You know, we talked, remember a couple of weeks ago, some of the guys were starting to panic about the lineup. I'm like, listen, ebb and flow. This is how they've been. Well, they're flowing right now.
Yeah, now let's hope that they don't go the other way.
And it could happen,
because
but
if it
you
does,
don't want to see it these 3 games. I don't love that Savali's pitching the first game of this series.
Yeah, I don't either.
Dylan Cease has been their best guy. He may be the Cy Young. I mean, they have a huge – but think about this, Jay. The White Sox got all the pressure.
They do.
They got all the pressure.
We've got a 4-game cushion coming into this.
Only thing the Guardians can't have happen is a sweep.
That's exactly right.
Even if they lose 2 out of 3, not that any of us wanted to happen.
They pick up 1 game. That's it.
They're still 3 up.
Yep.
I hope we don't show that clip.
Just don't
later.
sweep. Yeah.
I hope that clip doesn't come
I know.
up.
I know, because I look at the percentages all year long. What's their percentages to make the playoffs? Currently, the Indians, Guardians, are at 89.5%.
Right. Yeah.
We just watched 99.9% go down the drain.
Yeah.
So this is nothing. I mean,
this is a team with heart.
This is a team with heart that plays well.
And leadership.
And I got to tell you, I asked you about the crowd that was there at the end of the game. What was the announced attendance for Saturday's second game? Do you remember?
I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't remember the announced attendance, but I remember looking around, and it was a really good crowd.
Good.
Yesterday wasn't great.
Well, you don't expect it on a day game. Right.
But it's a good sign. I've been to a number of games this year where I've been disappointed, and I looked around and I actually commented. I'm like, I'm glad that we turned out tonight.
Good.
And they
that's huge.
Now watching them slowly trickle, like the 13th, they're like, I just can't anymore.
The Browns play tomorrow.
I have some friends that left too. Yes, they need, and the final 9 games of the year are all at home.
Yeah.
3 with Tampa Bay, which will be tough, and then 6 against the Royals. Hopefully the fans will come out. This team deserves it. If they go 10-5, which is not unreasonable, especially since 9 of their 15 are at home and 9 of their 15 are against the Rangers and Royals.
Right.
They go 10-5, they win 90 games.
And the magic number is now 12.
12.
Okay, so 12, and they have how many games left? 16?
15 games
15.
left.
So just say of the 15, say you go 7-8.
Right.
The White Sox just have to lose 5 games the rest of the year.
Right. That's right.
So they've got to go 11-5.
They'd have to go 11-4.
Right.
Yeah, they can only lose 4.
We're sitting.
Okay, so I mean, I can see why it's an 89% chance.
We're sitting in it's ours to lose, right?
Oh,
it's
ours.
ours
That's
to
right.
lose. But I'll go back to this. We talked about it this week. The teams take on the personality of the manager.
Yeah, they do.
Of the lead dog, right?
Right.
And I will tell you, Francona has done a masterful job. Masterful job.
He's been fantastic.
And his demeanor, what was that, 2 weeks ago when he was going irate on the referee?
Got tossed.
Right? So we don't have to look behind the crowd to see what happened behind the bench.
Right.
You're like, no. And all the players saw it, right?
And not only that, Brad, but then you go to the next level. Who's the leader of the players? That's Jose Ramirez.
It's Ramirez.
He's
your
the
best
talker.
player.
He's your best player.
And he plays
He
the
busts
hardest.
his ass every time. And he took less money. Yeah, throw that into the mix.
And all those young guys see that multimillionaire doing that.
Absolutely. He never doesn't hustle.
And I'm glad you said that, because as we talk about others, specifically the Browns, although we're on the Guardians, young people, when they see certain things, they emulate it. Right?
That's right.
So if you sit out practice, you're telling the young person, it's okay to sit out practice.
Right. Jose Ramirez never wants to be out of lineup.
He's always
there.
And if you take accountability, young guys look at that.
So I got to be accountable.
Coaches, I played for a coach once who said, he pulled me aside and said, I need you to be my thermostat. And I said,
Yeah.
what the hell is that? You need me to be your thermostat. He said, you need to be the guy that sets the temperature in the room. And they will acclimate to that based on you.
Yes.
If you're sulking, the temperature in the room is going to go down.
Yep.
If it's 6-2 in the 7th inning and you're the top step of the dugout, the temperature of the room is going to go up.
Yeah.
Be my thermostat.
Absolutely.
And he is their
yes,
thermostat.
no doubt.
And we've been talking about it. I don't know who the hell the Browns thermostat is.
And I know I'm putting the cart before the horse a little bit, and people in Cleveland get nervous when you do this. I get it, but I'm not living in my fears. So if the Guardians, like people have made a big deal about how the Guardians have not played well against some of the better teams, and I agree. However, this is not apples to apples, okay? In 2015, I'll give you one example. There's many, but I'll give you one. In 2015, the Cubs went 7-0 against the Mets in the regular season. 2015, not 2016. 2015, 7-0. Kicked their ass in 7 games. I don't think any of the 7 games were close. Mets swept them in a series in the playoffs. Yeah. Why? Because in the playoffs, I could set my rotation exactly the way I wanted. Yeah. Things are different. In the regular season, if this were the playoffs, we wouldn't be pitching Aaron Savali in game 1.
Not everybody can set their playoff rotation.
Well, that's true.
If you're fighting for a wild card spot and then you have to play that wild card series now.
That's true, but I'm assuming the Guardians, if they clinch the division, will clinch it early enough where it's not the last day or two.
I would hope so.
I would think.
Because that's the
and then
best
they set the
advantage you can
rotation.
get.
And the Guardians, what's their strength? Okay, their top 3 starters are reliable. Certainly their top 2 are very reliable.
And their bullpen's
Third
lights
guy's
out.
reliable enough. Their bullpen is awesome right now.
Yep.
Even some of the fringe guys have all been really good. The lineup, there's some holes in the lineup, but at least right now, Straw's been decent. He's been playing well. Got me a couple stolen bases. Right. I love you, Miles.
No, and he's hitting the hell out of the ball.
And he's been hitting lately.
At one point yesterday, he was 12 for his last 25.
And I'll tell you something else that's been under the radar. Early in the season, their defense was It's gotten better. It's not great. It's not great.
I think it's great up the middle where it has to be.
Oh, it's fantastic up the middle.
Jimenez is a Gold Glove second baseman.
It's gotten better. Like in the corners, it's gotten better. And even first base, which is not
Naylor's
great.
Gotten a lot better.
He's improved.
Yes, he has.
Right? He's gotten better as the season's
Watching
gone.
Quan on the field on Saturday was something.
And Jimenez and Rosario in the middle are like, they share a brain,
and then you
those
got
guys.
Straw and Quan in the outfield.
Absolutely.
And Jose is tremendous at third, in my opinion.
The defense has gotten much better.
Let me comment on what you just said, because you're apropos with this.
Yeah.
Right? The regular season and the postseason are 2 different things.
2 different animals.
Things.
Yeah.
The other thing I want you to know is there's no pressure on the Guardians. We're not even supposed to be here. So
that's true.
If you come in higher ranked than me and you ran me through the season, you're supposed to run me.
Yeah.
All I need to do is get off to a good jump, and then guess what? Then the nerves come in, and then you're like,
and I get
everybody start playing a little tight.
You're right.
You put yourself in the game. The thing that you have to be scared about the Guardians is this: pitching, managing. We're not gonna be mistake-led team. We're not going to do a whole lot of mistakes.
Right.
You got to play right against us.
Sure. Well, here's the key, and it hasn't been this team's strength, but lately they've been doing well in that department. Steve and Mike, can we put up the graphic, the 6 runs plus 6 run graphic again? I really wanted to hone in on that.
94 on tag board.
This is an unbelievable stat.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, 6 runs is a lot of runs to score.
Yeah.
But to be 44-1. When your team scores 6 runs, that's the best in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And look at the 2 teams that are up there.
The
Astros and the Dodgers, and each of those have at least double-digit more wins right now than the Guardians do.
And most teams are going to have a good, like even the White Sox who are 23rd still have a good record.
You better have a good record.
Do you know what's the most shocking part of that thing, that whole stat, though, is? The Guardians have more 6-run games than the Astros. And we talk about this Guardians offense
that doesn't make any sense,
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense.
And look how many the Dodgers have. The Dodgers have.
Well, Dodgers have 60. I mean, they have. We have 45.
That just means we score all ours at once in games usually, or we have big scoring games, and then we have a game where we score 1 run.
There's a lot.
I am surprised that the Guardians have scored 6+ runs in 45 games.
Do you know how that come playoff time?
Right.
That is huge.
Yes.
And the way their bullpen has pitched this year. If I'm handing out letter grades right now, and I know that's dangerous because it's not over, but the bullpen for me gets a solid A, maybe even an A+.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Tremendous.
They've been outstanding.
But you know who said that? Lynn Barker told you that.
Yeah,
he was
you're
on
right.
here
When he was in.
When he was in a month and a half ago, he said
that's the key.
Yeah. He said that's the key because they got the bullpen.
You can shorten games. Get it to 5-inning, 6-inning games.
And I think right now, the Astros are the overwhelming favorite in the American League, and they should be.
And the Dodgers
they got a great rotation. They got a really good bullpen, not as good as the Guardians, but it's really good.
And their
lineup is loaded
They're
defensively
too.
Battle tested, no doubt. They're the overwhelming favorite. But right now, there may be sexier teams for general fans out there with bigger names, but I think the Guardians are right on par with the Jays, the Rays, the Mariners, and the Yankees. I believe that.
I agree
I think they can beat any of those teams. Yeah, if they play the Astros in the playoffs, I want them to win. I wouldn't pick them to win. I'm not picking anybody to beat the Astros. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It's baseball. That's the great thing. It's not the NBA where when one team's much better, they always win. But against any of these other teams, but I understand why fans are a little antsy because they've been bad in the playoffs since 2016. They won the first 2 games in 17 against the Yankees. Haven't won a playoff game since.
Yep.
But I'm all in on this team. I'm excited to watch them. I love the scrappiness and the toughness and the fight that they show. They're never out of a game. Never. There's never a game outside. The only game I can think of that was like they had no shot was that one game, the makeup game against the White Sox. It looked like they were dead. Remember last week?
Well, they waved the white flag.
They kind of did.
They knew they were going against Lance Lynn.
Yes.
And they had a call-up start.
Yes.
But
outside of that,
I was fine with that because what they were doing was setting their rotation for the Minnesota series, which they ended up taking 4 out of 5. If you look at the pitching matchups in this series, it's Savale. Savale's going to be a loss in my.
Dylan,
they could pull it out,
you never know.
Dylan sees
it's a huge edge for the White Sox.
Probably 1 or 2 for the Cy Young.
Yes.
Then you've got Tristan McKenzie against Lance Lynn.
I think that's a wash.
I don't know. McKenzie's like 10-11 this year, I think.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a losing record. His ERA is pretty solid. I was at the game at Progressive earlier this year, just about a month or so ago, when McKenzie had like 15 strikeouts. He threw 95 pitches, 75 were strikes. I cannot believe how much he pounded the strikes.
I don't put much into the record
but Lance
for me.
Lynn's
Lance Lynn's really good. He's pitched great lately.
But Bieber against Cueto. Cueto's a guy that can give you a no-hitter, or he can get dinged.
He's been surprisingly good, but Bieber's been lights out lately.
Bieber, the last 10 starts has been
Vintage
Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
So I think the key here is, I think, again, they're kind of waving the white flag. Tito is putting his horses at the back end of this series, primarily because he had to get through Minnesota first.
Right.
But between McKenzie and Bieber, you're going to win one of those. You should. If you do that, you only give up a game in the standings. You have a 3-game lead. And yes, you do have the Rays.
Well, you
have 6 against the Royals.
And you also got the Rangers.
You got the Rangers.
They're not
too.
good.
They should dominate that series.
What I like about what you're saying is it is basic math here.
Yeah. You can start counting wins.
We start counting wins and losses. Here it is. And it
That's
don't have to be all my wins and all my losses.
Yep.
That's right.
No,
and that's how I set
Very
my game on.
achievable.
This is how I walk myself into the playoffs.
Imagine how different you'd feel right now if we were 3 games down.
Oh, boy.
Of course.
It'd be a hard mountain to climb.
It's going to be an interesting test because they're facing, like you said, they're facing 3 good starters in the series because even Cueto, who's there, and those are their top 3 starters, Chicago.
Absolutely.
Cueto's been their third best guy.
We got 3 games.
3.
But then in Texas, you're going to face John Gray, used to be with the Rockies. He's like a pretty solid starter. And then in Tampa Bay, I think you're going to face.
I haven't looked that far ahead.
I did look at. I think they had Jeffrey Springs, who's come out of nowhere this year, had a great year.
Well.
All their pitchers are good in Tampa Bay. All their
if we take 2
starters.
out of 3.
Oh, it's over if they take 2
if we
out of
take
3.
2 out of 3, I would think that
it's over. The magic number's 8.
To a level that is. I don't think I don't think there's nobody coming back.
But I do
I don't think so.
The Guardians. And I know they won't, unlike the Browns. They can't take their foot off the gas because I don't think the White Sox are going quietly in these last 2 weeks.
Until that number over the Guardian says 100%, or there's an X next to their name in the standings.
Clinched.
Even if it says 99.9, like it currently does for the Yankees, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying 99.9 ever again.
I don't think that's in Francona's makeup. I think he's going to play it all the way out.
I think they will win the division as long as they don't get swept. Even if they get swept, I still think they got a shot, but I think we'll all be very nervous if they get swept.
It's going to be a long last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Both Cleveland both Cavs, both Guardians and the Browns at the top of their division. Did you guys ever think you'd see it? Here we are. Wow, we're killing it, Cleveland. Positive Mike.
Great, man.
Positive
All right, there's 5 minutes left because I got to get out of here at 1. I got to.
Yeah, me too. I got a massage, baby. Let's go.
Roll. Wow, I wish that was my appointment. It's not.
Are you guys going together? All right, no.
I'm doing the massage. That's what I thought.
Well, you're tight, boy.
That's a skit. That's a skit right there.
Oh, my God.
That's a skit.
Yep.
So I'll probably blow off my final take, but